Subscribe to Pewdiepie, 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 subscribe to Pewdiepie now. Don't subscribe to T-Series. Subscribe so you can unsubscribe. Subscribe to Pewdiepie, 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 subscribe to Pewdiepie. Do it now. Also turn on notifications for Pewdiepie. Maybe subscribe to me, but mostly subscribe to Pewdiepie. Subscribe to Pewdiepie, 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 subscribe now to Pewdiepie, not T-Series. Everyone, don't do T-Series. T-Series is bad. Pewdiepie is good. T-Series is like Satan and Pewdiepie is God. He even sort of looks like Jesus. Subscribe to Pewdiepie now. Do it now. Subscribe to Pewdiepie. Subscribe to Pewdiepie. Subscribe to Pewdiepie. Dislike all of T-Series videos. Like all of PewDiePie's videos. Subscribe to Pewdiepie right now, right here. Do it now. Click off this video if you have to. Subscribe to Pewdiepie. Subscribe to Pewdiepie. Subscribe to Pewdiepie. Subscribe to Pewdiepie. Don't subscribe to T-Series. T-Series sucks. Subscribe to Pewdiepie. Subscribe to Pewdiepie. Subscribe to Pewdiepie. Like and comment this video if you subscribe to Pewdiepie. Also share it so people know to subscribe to Pewdiepie. 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 Do it now or I will come to your house. I will hunt you down. Subscribe to Pewdiepie. 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 Do it now. Now, right now. Do it now. Leave this video if you have to. If you must, leave the video, okay? As long as you subscribe to Pewdiepie, okay? Click the red letters that say subscribe on PewDiePie's channel. Make there be more subscribers on his channel. Don't let T-Series win. If you're subscribed to T-Series already, then unsubscribe. Instead, take that subscription to PewDiePie. Make multiple accounts so you can subscribe to PewDiePie in different ways. Subscribe to PewDiePie. 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 T-Series sucks, so you have to subscribe to PewDiePie instead. Subscribe to PewDiePie. Subscribe to PewDiePie. Tell all your friends to subscribe to PewDiePie. Even your family members. Even your grandma. If she doesn't get it, then tell her how it works so she can subscribe to PewDiePie. 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 Do this to PewDiePie. Subscribe. Sound like a good idea? I think it does, because you need to subscribe to PewDiePie. Do it now. Subscribe to PewDiePie. 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 You're only halfway done with the video, okay? You need to subscribe to PewDiePie. Subscribe to PewDiePie. Subscribe to PewDiePie. Subscribe to PewDiePie. Not even halfway, actually. Subscribe to PewDiePie. Subscribe to PewDiePie. Do it now. Subscribe to PewDiePie. I don't care what your intentions are or what you want to do, as long as it does not involve T-Series, and it does involve PewDiePie, and you subscribe to PewDiePie, okay? Subscribe to PewDiePie. Subscribe to PewDiePie. It's 11:48 p.m. at night, and I am up right now, so I can tell you to subscribe to PewDiePie. 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 Do it now. Subscribe to PewDiePie. Subscribe to PewDiePie. Subscribe to PewDiePie. Subscribe to PewDiePie. PewDiePie. Try saying PewDiePie 10 times fast. It's really hard, actually. Subscribe to PewDiePie. 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 No. Let me restart. PewDiePie. So it's Pew, then die, then pie. PewDiePie. Don't ask why die is pronounced D. I don't know. But the answer is subscribe to PewDiePie. Give Felix a subscription. If you didn't know Felix is PewDiePie's name, go subscribe to him. Maybe you can find that out on his channel and have proof. Subscribe to PewDiePie. Do it now. Do it. Subscribe to PewDiePie. 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 Do it. Please do it. Do it. Please do it. Please do it right now. Subscribe to PewDiePie. Don't let T-Series win. T-Series shouldn't win. T-Series is a company. PewDiePie isn't one single man, okay? And he's come all this far. And then T-Series is a company. They don't count, okay? T-Series doesn't count. T-Series is bad because they're a company. They're probably evil. They're a whole bunch of people. PewDiePie, he's by himself. He's like the underdog or whatever. So you need to go to subscribe to PewDiePie so he can win this battle. At least let him get to 10 million. I don't know. You know what? Let him get past that as long as T-Series doesn't get past him. Let PewDiePie always be the winner. If there's someone in the future that tries to beat PewDiePie and is almost there, don't let it happen. Subscribe to PewDiePie. Subscribe to PewDiePie. Subscribe to PewDiePie. Subscribe to PewDiePie. If you're this far in the video, then you're probably really loyal because this is starting to get repetitive. Subscribe to PewDiePie. Actually, it's not repetitive because it's subscribing to PewDiePie. Want to know what would be repetitive, though? If you subscribe to T-Series. No one wants that. Subscribe to PewDiePie. Subscribe to PewDiePie. If you subscribe to T-Series, then I will come to your school and I will be a bully. I will physically move from my house to your town so I can go to your school and bully you. And then you'd be like, why bully me? But I'll be like, because you subscribe to T-Series. So that's why you need to subscribe to PewDiePie. 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 Unsubscribe from T-Series. T-Series sucks. Actually, you shouldn't even be subscribed in the first place, so you don't need to unsubscribe. Only subscribe so you can unsubscribe, because PewDiePie needs to be subscribed to. T-Series deserves to be unsubscribed too, because T-Series sucks. PewDiePie is amazing. PewDiePie is God. He can probably take down Shaggy. Subscribe to PewDiePie. Subscribe to PewDiePie. If PewDiePie, if you subscribe to PewDiePie, PewDiePie can take down Shaggy and Thanos and Matt the wrestler guy and Waluigi and Shrek and all those people all together. PewDiePie can take them down in just one bro fist, and then they'll all be vaporized. That's how powerful he'll be if you subscribe to him. So go subscribe to PewDiePie right now. You're almost done with the video, okay? Just as long as you subscribe to PewDiePie. Subscribe when this video is at the beginning. Subscribe in the middle. Subscribe at the end. I don't care. As long as you subscribe to PewDiePie. Make more accounts or something so you can subscribe. Make bot accounts. I don't care. Actually, that's illegal. Don't make bots. But still, subscribe to PewDiePie. Whatever you do, don't do anything illegal unless you have to, okay? Maybe. I don't know. Don't do that, actually. You can get arrested. As long as you subscribe to Pewdiepie, though, it doesn't really matter. Subscribe to Pewdiepie. 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 Do it now. Do it. 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 Do it now. Subscribe to Pewdiepie. We just hit the 10-minute mark. I tried to snap, but my fingers are too sweaty because it's almost midnight, and I've been in bed. Anyway, subscribe to Pewdiepie. This video is about to end. Subscribe to Pewdiepie.